Hey you guys, this is the first video short that I'm going to be doing, trying to just pick a couple little different things that you guys need to know about that pertains to me authenticating your documents and doing your dossier prep. The first one is something that goes on every one of your dossier documents and a lot of your home study documents, and that is the notary. Okay, now the first thing I want to talk to you about is what the notary's job is. The notary is only required to verify your signature and the fact that you are who you say you are. So they should either know you personally or they should be asking you for some kind of identification to make sure that you are, in fact, the person who is signing the document. You are one and the same. This starts the paperwork trail for authentication. The very point of legalizing the document, which is what authentication is that we want to make sure that, or the country that the document's going to, China, wants to make sure that you are who you say you are, or whoever signed that document is in fact that person. So that's what starts this long line of authenticating and seals and certifications that you have to go through with each piece of paper from your dossier. So basically, the notary is someone that is state by state, and they always verify the signature, and they have a stamp or an embossed seal that they use. And the one thing that they don't always do is put a jurate statement on there. That's the statement that says subscribed to and affirmed by so-and-so, which would be your name, on this blank day of blank in 2016. So you have to have that whole sentence on your document if you are going to have that document used in your dossier. That is an automatic rejection at the embassy. So if your notary says, oh, well, I don't do that, you need to say, well, I need you to do this. And it can be handwritten on the document. So, even if they don't have a stamp or it's not already written on your document, you can have them just handwrite it on there. So I wanted to hold one up. This is just a sample. And so, let me see if I can get this where I want it to be. This is actually one that's already on a document. And so you see there, it says, that it's certified, that this document has been signed and affirmed or sworn to before me. And then it gives the date, it gives the county that they have their notary certification from, the commission expiration, and then it has a place for them to sign their name. All of these things are absolutely necessary for the Chinese embassy to be able to authenticate your document and not reject it. So you really, really want to make sure that you have some kind of statement. The date is necessary and where the commission has been given from, so that would be like a county and state, and then the expiration of the commission and the notary's signature. Some of them even have a space to print the notary's name printed out so that they can read it. So there's also a couple of things that you have to have on your document, and I'm trying to find my paper here so I can get the exact thing. Okay, so here we go. The first thing that you want to make sure is that your dates match on your document. So if you have a document and it's dated January 1st and you take it to your notary 3 days later, that's going to be a problem. You need to make sure that your notary is done on the date that that document is signed. The best thing for you to do is just not date it. That's what we've been doing lately for some of the documents that we create. Like when I do dossier prep for my families, I usually do not date the CCCWA letter that I create for them, or the self-employment letter, non-employment letter, things like that. So realize that notaries that notarize your documents cannot provide the document for you. So the notary cannot notarize their own signature, nor can they do that for any family members of their own. So if your dad's a notary and you're signing a document in front of them, he cannot notarize your documents. You need to have a complete stranger or somebody that you're friends with, but outside of your family. The other thing that you want to think about is the date that they're commissioned. A lot of the agencies are saying that you need to have 6 months left on your notary commission. That's a great thing to do. What happens is once you start the sealing process, those dates are checked. And if the notary is expired, you have to have your authentication done before that expiration date. So as an example, if you get your CCCWA letter signed on January 1st and their commission expires on February 15th the same year, you didn't get that 6 months, which is okay, but you do need to have that document completely authenticated all the way through the embassy by the time that is expired. Once your documents are authenticated, they are good forever. That was told to me by an agency person, so I'm not making that up. Obviously, there are some documents in your dossier that have to be a certain age, and of course, they have to be a certain age. They can't be used forever. Hope that makes sense. Anyway, there is always a stamp or an embossment that is done by your notary. So you can have a stamp on there that says, you know, the name of the person, and then my commission expires, and maybe sometimes it says like the state and county that they're commissioned in. Usually it has at least their name and their expiration date. When your notary signs your document, they should sign it exactly the way it is written on that seal. So if their name says Kelly R. Rumbaugh, you need to make sure they sign Kelly R. Rumbaugh and it's legible. Some states have been rejecting notary signatures if they're not the same one that they have on file. Sometimes China rejects certain signatures because they're not exactly the same. Say they are looking for the R of Kelly R. Rumbaugh and they can't find it. They're going to reject that. They're going to say this is not signed the same way. It's just little petty things that get rejected. So anyway, this is kind of a whole ball of wax thing for the notary. If you have any questions, you are free to email me. You can get me at dossierprep@gmail.com. And I'm happy to answer any Facebook messages. My Facebook is Kelly STEM, STEM, Rumbaugh. So, or you can send me a message through our Facebook page, Ladybugs in Love Adoption Services. Thanks. See you next time.